Good evening. Exeter set the tone for the Emirates FA Cup third round last night by holding Klopp's kids to a draw. And we have 25 more matches for you with plenty of drama guaranteed. In the studio, we have a man whose overhead kick for QPR is part of FA Cup folklore, Trevor Sinclair, and an FA Cup winner in Mark Lawrenson. Well, one game didn't survive the weather, Newport against Blackburn Rovers, and there was real concern at the ground of the only non-league team left in the competition, Eastleigh. The aptly named Silver Lake Stadium was treated to all manner of drying treatments, some more successful than others, before their match against bottom of the Championship, Bolton, was finally given the go-ahead. Tony Husband donned his Wellington boots and squelched his way to the commentary box.
Hundreds of volunteers, some of them Bolton fans, have helped get this game on. There were numerous pitch inspections by referee Ian Williamson through the morning, and finally the go-ahead. But parts of the surface are a cause for concern. Home manager Chris Todd can call upon plenty of league experience. James Constable made his name at Oxford United and was on target in Eastleigh's victory at Stourbridge in round 2. Dan Harding was playing in the Championship just last season with Nottingham Forest. Bolton are without Mark Davis and Zach Clough, both on the brink of being sold to raise funds. There are two changes from the side beaten by Huddersfield in the league. Frenchman Dorian De Wiet is into central defence, while on-loan Arsenal frontman Wellington plays off striker Gary Medine. Bolton haven't won away this season. We wondered if this game would get the go-ahead. Some concern from probably both sides about the playing surface, but referee Ian Williamson has said, let's play. Now, Odebaid will test Moxey. It's heavy in those corners. Run made, and that's an early save from Ben Amos, and this still isn't away. Good block in there as well. Early threat inside 2 minutes. Odebaid just a little bit quicker. See the surface digging up as well. Drury's ball, the clearance from Amos, and then the shot actually hit James Constable. What a day for Derek Brooks, 92-year-old Eastleigh fan, and one of the founders of the original club in 1946 when they were known as Swathing Athletic. Strevens, Reason, Odebaid now, good chance! Blazed over. Yemi Odebaid just had a sight of goal for Chris Todd's men. Eastleigh finding a hole in the Bolton back line. Well set up, Odebaid just got a flyer, and that one out of the ground. Odebaid. It's a good ball. Might get another chance as well. This is James Constable. Can he get the other side of them here? He's gone down. It's a free kick. They're pleading for a penalty from behind the goal. Let's have a look. I think the referee's made the right decision there. Now this is Odebaid, who is down. Odebaid goes through. Looks like a hamstring, doesn't it? And what a blow that could be for Eastleigh. Dan's forward to the youthful Wellington, who's picked his way now and produced an excellent save from Flitney in the Eastleigh goal. Bolton still threatening. Medine trying to get on the end of this one. Flitney punches away. Moxey. Another save, and almost falls into the path of the lurking Pratley. And Eastleigh have their keeper to thank for the score staying level right now. Moxey's shot, and Flitney twice in a minute has made important saves with his palms. Evans launches it for the new signing, Qaid Mohammed, only signed on Tuesday. He's got James Constable in the middle. Almost finds him. And Bolton concede a corner. What has Chris Todd got planned? Set pieces like this. Reason with the Eastleigh corner. Near post headed away by Moxey. He can have another go. Still players forward. And that has gone in! It's an own goal! Dorian De Wiet has stretched his boot out, put it past his own keeper, and put National League Eastleigh into the lead in the 6th minute of the second half. Terrible moment for the Bolton defender, joy for those players, and a full house inside the Silver Lake. Eastleigh are in front. Reason's corner was headed away at the near post. The second ball, much better, and De Wiet just left his keeper stranded. Dorian DeVete only came back into the side today. He's had a moment to forget in the FA Cup right there. The big moment has gone Eastleigh's way. What have Bolton got in their response? The club on its knees, bottom of the Championship, now behind at National League Eastleigh. Reason. Oh, and this is set up for Partington. Well, what an opportunity for Eastleigh to double the advantage, and that really could have floored Bolton. He's through. And then it's a good challenge from Dorian DeVete, ironically the man who just put through his own goal. Bolton 7 times in the final, 4 times winners, on the brink against a non-league side at the moment, unless they can work something here. Oh, and that's a good save from Flitney, and Pratley so close to an equaliser for Bolton Wanderers. Nicely worked, Wellington. The layoff from Wheater, who's up there again, and once more Flitney with that left palm. Mohamed. This one's for Payne. Here's Mohamed, and Payne again, saved. Constable's there and cleared away by Wheater. Payne was in there, Mohamed as well. Payne shot, good save. Constable couldn't quite pounce. Oh, and that's forward and flicked on for Qaid Mohamed. There's a man in the middle here as well. What an opportunity this is for a second. Oh, it's held up on the line and cleared away, and Andy Drury is denied the chance to be a hero for Eastleigh. While all that's gone on, that pitch invader was on the field in that passage of play, but the referee Ian Williamson clearly signalled advantage and play on. So it seems like that goal would have stood. Here goes Wellington. Amiobi in the middle, support from Medine, and that'll be a free kick. Here's Medine, just a little bit too fast for the Eastleigh centre-half. Wellington. And this one is off the line, is it? The referee is looking to his assistant. Shola Amiobi was right there on the line. Bolton, for a moment, thought they had an equaliser, but he may have given an offside, and it's Amiobi, in fact, who didn't get it across the line anyway. Well, they're getting closer. Bolton Wanderers, now they can get Woolery, the substitute, away, but he's up against the experience of Harding. And the experience wins out. Bolton's 9th corner of the game. This could be an outswinger from Feeney. And Bolton Wanderers have equalised. Pratley, one of the Bolton players in the melee. But Eastleigh's hearts are broken with only 3 minutes to play at the Silver Lake Stadium. An unsightly mess in the net as well after that equaliser. But Bolton have dug deep, and they've found their way back into the tie, and we could be going to a replay. Well, Ian Williamson's going to want to talk to a few people after this. He's got one of his assistants on the field as well. Jay Reason didn't seem to want to give the ball back in the net. A real scramble. Darren Pratley's equaliser for Bolton Wanderers as time ticked away at the Silver Lake. And then this was the rather messy postscript to that goal, involving Jay Reason, Wellington, Woolery. They're all in there. Dramatic afternoon on the south coast. And Eastleigh of the National League have held Bolton Wanderers in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. They will have a replay, but they very nearly had a huge upset. Darren Pratley's late equaliser saves the Championship side after they were behind to a Dorian DeVete own goal early in the 2nd period. A game that very nearly didn't happen. When it did, we had all the drama we associate with an FA Cup tie. It goes to a replay. Full time. Eastleigh 1, Bolton Wanderers 1.
It's been a very special day for the football club today, and it was definitely a special performance on the football field, because we deserved to win today. I'm not going to push any punches, you know, we really did. And it's a credit to the players, really.
You got to give great credit to Eastleigh. They played ever so well, but we knew they would, because this was a big day, and the pitch was a great leveller, obviously, as well. I know from my own experience as a player, I've been on the end of a couple of giant killings myself, that this was never going to be an easy tie to negotiate. We still haven't negotiated fully yet, but I'm thankful that we have another crack at it now.
These guys are here for an upset today, so all the cameras are here wanting us not to go through and each to go through, which is fair enough in the FA Cup. It'll be a tough game back at the Macron, and it was important that we come away and we're still in the hat, and we've managed to do that.
All of us, the whole squad, the whole place here, you can see how much effort's gone in for the game, just to get the game on. And you know, I think as a group of players, we've kind of repaid the people for doing that and put in a great performance. And you know, we've got a job to go and do now up there.
Well, it was only at 1:30 that the game was actually given the go-ahead, and the pitch wasn't great. I don't know what Jurgen Klopp would have made of it. He was moaning about Exeter last night. He wouldn't have liked that.
No.
But you must have played on worse pitches in your time.
Yeah, I thought I was smiling to myself when Neil Lennon said it was a great leveller, which is, Trev, honestly, believe me, I know you're a lot younger than me. That's the way that it used to be. And I think from Bolton's point of view, Neil Lennon had to say to his players, look, this is going to be really, really difficult. Nothing like the billiard tables you used to playing on. And it took Bolton a while to get going today.
Unsurprisingly, Eastleigh kind of made the most of conditions, didn't they, early on? And in the first half, they certainly used the pitch to their advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're used to it. They're used to playing on them kind of pitches. I think you see it in non-league all the time. And, you know, for a National League side, I thought they equipped themselves really well, adapted to the conditions very well. And they went out with a game plan. You know, Chris Todd, the manager of Eastleigh, has told them clearly, get the ball wide, get balls into the box and see what Bolton can do with it. And early doors, they did that really well, and Bolton looked uncomfortable in a lot of occasions, and they could have scored 1 or 2 goals before they actually did break the defence and get in. Again, you can see it, no other thought in the minds of the players. Get it in the 6-yard box.
Very direct.
Very direct, but why not? You know, if it's causing problems, why not? And this one, it's an absolute peach of a ball by Reason. Great area to aim for, and De Viet doesn't know what to do. He's not sure what's behind him. He sticks a leg out, and we see it so often. It goes into the back of his net, and it's a great start by Eastleigh. And I think the belief was there from the players from that moment
Absolutely, confidence, and there didn't look to be a huge gulf between them at all, did there? I know Eastleigh are on the up, and obviously Bolton at the moment are not having a great time, 1 win in 20. But in the second half, you could see Bolton obviously getting to grips with conditions and causing problems for Flitney, who had a fantastic game.
Yeah, and I think you have to give credit to Neil Lennon. He's told the players, listen, we can't be playing it through the middle of the park. It was too boggy, it was really bad conditions, and we need to start playing it a bit longer and a bit more direct, and they did that really well and started asking questions of the Eastleigh defence on time and time again. But for whatever reason, Flinty didn't feel like he wanted to let the ball go in the back of his net, and you know, he made some absolutely fantastic saves. Really difficult as well. I think keepers will appreciate this. When you've got a boggy 6-yard box, to actually get your feet planted and make saves like that, fantastic ability, and deserves all the plaudits I'm sure he's going to get.
He was an understudy to Van der Sar at Fulham, and he's had a kind of, you know, a real journey since then. He's in his early 30s, and what this competition does when you get these matchups, you start wondering why those kinds of players end up there when they were in what was then a Premier League side.
Absolutely.
It's class today.
Yeah, and you hear stories like that all the time, and for whatever reason, at a time in their careers, it's not worked out for them. They've ended up going down a few divisions and enjoying the football and thinking, well, why should I strive so much to get back there when I'm enjoying my football there? And, you know, he's put a great performance in.
Had a great day today. Now, I don't want to be a stick in the mud, but we need to talk about conditions a little bit more, because it didn't always work for Eastleigh, did it? And there were moments where perhaps the ball might have travelled a bit further were it not for conditions.
I mean, they've carved out a fantastic opportunity there. Good save from the goalkeeper, but it looked like it was going to go over the line. And with a slicker pitch, I think that had a great chance of going over the line, but as you said, it stuck in the mud, and Wheater recovered really well. You can see him here on the left-hand side of the picture, recovered really well, number 31, and cleared the lines. But I think that's one occasion where the pitch actually went against the home side.
You might just see an excited gentleman in the corner of the picture there who'd entered the
enjoying it so much
play.
He wanted to join in.
And the other thing, Gabby, which is really rare, is Bolton will be glad of the replay because of the financial difficulties as much as Eastleigh.
Well, we know Eastleigh are obviously going to benefit massively from the replay, which came because of this, Lauro.
Yeah, well, it's so late on. That's a frustrating thing. Prattley just pushes his man away, but his man's still got time to get much tighter to him, and he's in the right spot. It's a horrible way not to win the game if you're Eastleigh, because you're thinking all the time, because of the way the football's played in that league, you're able to deal with crosses and corners like that. But it showed you there with Neil Lennon exactly what it's made to Bolton. But Eastleigh played really, really well.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable watch, wasn't
it? It was.
OK, well, since losing the FA Cup final back in May, Aston Villa have only won 1 league match and travelled to League 2 promotion challengers Wycombe Wanderers in desperate need of a morale-boosting win. Darren Fletcher and Robbie Savage were at a sold-out Adams Park.
Wycombe's main change is in goal. Regular number 1 Matt Ingram is suspended. So 20-year-old Alex Lynch, who started last season's playoff final at Wembley, makes his FA Cup debut today. Wholesale changes, as always, for Aston Villa, it seems. 3 changes in defence. Clark, Akore and Richardson are all recalled. Top scorer Scott Sinclair starts, as does striker Rudy Gestead. And there's lots of experience and ability in reserve on the Aston Villa bench. Well, here's Richards, and now Sinclair. Sinclair allowed to turn. It's Stewart across there, and then cleared away by Pierre.
It was good centre forward play, initially holding the centre half off. Gestead's on his back foot. You've got to try and get across your man there.
There's Remy Gard, the Aston Villa manager, still waiting for his first win. Away by Akore, and then Bloomfield and Wood, and there's an opportunity here. And it was an important interception from Bunn, the goalkeeper, because had that found its way through, Harriman was waiting for a tap-in. At this stage of last season, they were top of League Two. They're 6th at the moment, right in the promotion race, despite not having much in the way of resource here at Adams Park. Hill plays it forward. Richards has made another run from full-back, and he was looking to pick out Sinclair. It was away by Stewart this time. Here is Gestead, and now Bakuna. Bakuna with the left foot, which thundered into Aaron Pierre. Now Carlos Hill. Wood's the defender this time for Wycombe, and then Micah Richards, who can pick out the corner and settle the Aston Villa nerves at Adams Park. Captain's goal from Micah Richards, and the Premier League side have the lead.
It was coming, pressure mounting on Wycombe's goal. It's the right back, Micah Richards. You know, he's been forward a few times. The ball goes out to a one-on-one situation. Hill, too much time on the ball. But look at Micah Richards, unmarked. You know, he's picked out that far corner. It's a great side foot finish. That's leadership there. Micah Richards, 1-0.
Wycombe have never beaten top-flight opposition here in the FA Cup. Here's Gay, who can take on Bloomfield and then run into McCarthy, and that's going to be a Villa corner. So Leandro Bakuna has come out to take the corner for Villa. And it's helped on as well by Gestead. Who else? And then it was Richards again, wasn't it? Sliding in at the far post, looking for the touch.
Yeah, you know, he was claiming for a penalty. I think he's just run off Thompson. Is it a pull back on the shirt? I think that could be a penalty, Darren. He's very lucky there to get away with it.
Not really been able to have a spell in the game where they've pressed Aston Villa and hustled and harried them so far. Here's Bloomfield, the captain. The defending done by Westwood, and the last touch came off the Aston Villa midfielder, so it is going to be a Wycombe Wanderers corner. Here's the corner from Jacobson into a dangerous area, and it was there for Pierre, who got there to the ball first and then couldn't keep the header down. What an opportunity. Great delivery again from Jacobson. He knows what a good chance it was for his centre-back, Aaron Pierre. Forward by Stewart. Here's Harriman with Richardson over there defending for Aston Villa. It's been a good battle between those two, hasn't it, Harriman and Richardson?
Yeah, it's been a good positive start as well from Wycombe.
Gareth Ainsworth, who remains optimistic despite the deficit. Block on the cross by Idrissa Gueye. Then Bloomfield was caught, and he was caught inside the penalty area, and Michael Oliver points to the spot.
The ball was in the air a long time. It's Westwood who goes out for the challenge. It's the right arm of Westwood there who makes contact with Bloomfield. I think that is slightly harsh, considering that Micah Richards didn't get a penalty in the first half for the pullback.
Jacobson against Bunn. 1-1. And it's another bump in the road for Remy Gard and Aston Villa. And the side 54 places below them in the league are back on terms at Adams Park.
He was cool, he was calm, he was calculated, back of the net, great composure. Now let's see what Aston Villa are made of. What a game we got on now, Fletch.
It's time to look at the character of Aston Villa, because you would expect now, would face an onslaught from the League Two side who have got their tails up, and here's Wood in possession. Now Thompson. Harriman's made his way in the box. Amadi Holloway's in there. Wood on the volley! Vital block by a Corey for Aston Villa, otherwise it's 2-1. Looking for a bit of inspiration, Gareth Ainsworth's side. Here's Jordan Ayew. Still Jordan Ayew, and they're backing off again, the Wycombe defenders, and he went for the corner and almost found it.
Great feet, right foot, left foot, drives it across the goalkeeper, but just wide. But you cannot keep letting quality players, and Ayew is, get into an area where he can have a strike on goal.
There's Richardson, plenty of speed still down that left-hand side for Aston Villa. McCarthy did well to work back. Now Gisted. Shot took a couple of deflections, and Lynch didn't know where it was and was very happy to see it glance off the woodwork.
The keeper was motionless right off the corner.
Ayew will chase. Stewart will show his speed as well, although he got the last touch and that's gone out for a corner. And is there going to be late heartbreak here for the League Two side? Aston Villa with the last opportunity if there's time. In goes the corner, deep one towards Lydon, who's been left completely unmarked. Back in towards Gisted, away by Aaron Pierre. And Wycombe Wanderers of League Two have earned themselves a replay at Aston Villa, and Gareth Ainsworth can celebrate.
Tactics don't win games like this. It's personnel, it's desire and heart, and the culture of being a Wycombe Wanderers player. Nothing was left out on this pitch from any single player of mine. Thoroughly deserved the draw, I thought.
I think the difference between the two teams at the start of the game was not very obvious during the game, and I'm a bit disappointed about that.
The club's had a bit of a rocky patch financially over the last couple of years. We're very stable now, but any little bonus like that is fantastic, and and for the supporters to have a day out at Villa Park and the lads playing at a Premier League ground is great, and these are the type of days that we have to enjoy because they don't come around very often.
To be able to go up to a Premier League ground in front of how many thousands are going to be there, and to put yourself on that fantastic stadium with fantastic history, little Wycombe Wanderers. This is an awesome moment, and for the fans as well. I'm sure they'll be queuing around the blocks for tickets to go up there already, and I say very proud to be the Wycombe Wanderers manager. Andrew Howard's backed me all the way, the chairman, and this is for him just as much as anyone else, because he's a fantastic, realistic chairman to have.
They could have won. Some might say they deserve to win, but the financial implications of that replay are huge for a club like Wycombe. And Gareth Ainsworth in the build-up was talking about how he accounts for every 5 pence the club spends.
Well, he's got a lot of 5p's coming when they play the replay. And of course, for a club like Wycombe, it may allow him to get a couple of players in, even on loan, in the January transfer window. It might make the difference between getting the playoffs or getting automatic promotion. So it's no wonder that he knows every single penny that's going.
I said going into that, it could have been a morale-boosting performance, victory for Aston Villa. It was neither. But we should have a little look at what at times was a great performance from Micah Richards, who was coming up and down as a right back, as fans of Man City in England might remember seeing.
And Fiorentina as well, Gabby. I think the thing is when you've been playing centre back and all of a sudden you're asked to play right back, it's like this great release, because you're allowed to pile forward, which we see him in these particular clips, and it's very, very important. Obviously, I mean he played really well going forward, but it's very, very important that when it comes to defending, you've not got to switch off, which is just exactly what he did from this particular incident, where his man gets in and has an opportunity, and in the Premier League that could possibly have been a goal. But it's. That apart, he worked extremely hard, and again, there's a completely different fitness, because instead of sitting in your armchair as a centre-back, you're making runs after runs after runs. And here, I think he was so shattered, he thought, I'm not running back for a while. And he had a little bit of a break, because if you see in a minute...
Nice place centre forward.
Yeah, and he thought, I'll just have a little breather up here like all these forwards do, Trevor. Right, and eventually the ball comes through. I mean, it's a really, really good finish. You might kind of say, did he scuff it a little bit?
It's a bit of a shank.
But even so, it's just a very, very good finish. And of course, that made all the difference, and should have had a penalty. But then we see about 75 of those incidents every week, don't we? But he was definitely pulled back. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. So he could have actually got a couple of goals.
1 week that would go through, next week it wouldn't. You see that the touches he puts in here and the work he puts in, you know him well, Trevor. You said there it may be just the defending, kind of not as comfortable with that. That's his job, though, obviously, on week in, week out. So is it that, or is it that physically he's not built for that anymore?
I think physically he's going to have to adapt. You look at players that play on in wide areas on the pitch, a little bit leaner, a little bit slighter. They've got to have that athleticism to get up and down. Now, he was getting forward well, and I think Mark's right when he said he took the shackles off, and it's like you feel like you can do what you want. Yeah, you feel free and you can enjoy your football, whereas centre-half, you make one mistake, they're in at your goalkeeper. But he worked really hard going forward. I think just getting used to getting back in and becoming a right-back and doing what you're in the team to do, and that's defend. Once he gets that sorted in his mind and the way he goes about things, I'm sure he's going to end up being a right-back. And I've always thought he's a right-back anyway.
He's a big lump, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is, in a nice
very powerful, strong athlete, I think you meant to say.
Absolutely.
Let's just talk about the penalty, because it wasn't quite put to bed in commentary.
Oh, no, it's a penalty. I think anywhere on the pitch, this is a free kick. The referee's in a great position. That's the first thing, first and foremost. And really, to be honest with you, it's, you know, Westwood sticks his arm up all over, I think it's Bloomfield's face. And look, there you go, right in his face. It's got to be a free kick.
I think he bottles it a little. He kind of commits to the challenge, and then last minute realises he's not going to get there, and it's too late, and he's already kind of colliding into the player. Great penalty as well, great composure.
Both fairly happy with it, I would say.
Yeah, it's a pen. It's a pen.
OK, thank you very much, guys. Well, if you love a bit of David against Goliath, some third-round romance, well, you're going to enjoy this next crop of matches. We'll start at the Hawthorns, where Tony Pulis picked a full-strength West Brom side to face Championship Bristol City, in the hope, perhaps, that they wouldn't appear quite so close to the top of the running order on Match of the Day.
At the Hawthorns, they have fond, perhaps fading memories of their last FA Cup success back in 1968. That may be why Tony Pulis wanted to play a strong team despite worries about fixture congestion. But that team didn't respond particularly well. They might have gone behind to Championship side Bristol City had Jonathan Codger taken this chance, and he knew how big a chance it was. Pulis decided to send on Saido Berahino, a striker whose future is much speculated about. His impact was almost immediate. Within 4 minutes, he took aim, a goal which underlines his value to the Baggies. Bristol City are in trouble in the Championship, so who would have expected what came next? Luke Freeman's free kick picked out Codger, and the Robins were level. The celebration showed that something had stirred within City. A team in no sort of form at all in the league attacked Albion with a newfound purpose.
Burns' pace has done well against Evans. Low pass into the box. It might fall. Here's a Freeman. Freeman takes a touch. He shoots. It's a save by the keeper. Rebound. Agard! Goal! Kieran Agard! The substitute, he's only just come on, has scored, and the Hawthorns has gone crazy. 6 minutes to go. West Brom 1, Bristol City 2.
The Premier League side were on the brink. In fact, the game was in the 5th minute of stoppage time when they launched one final desperate effort. Johnny Evans queued up James Morrison and they'd rescued it. A creditable replay for City earned, but their manager felt they should have had more.
To be 2-1 up and there's 5 seconds to go from that free kick. I mean, you know, the free kick, by the time the pass goes wide, 5 seconds, it's done. The game's over. You know, we don't really need, you know, the referee giving them any more looks at our goal.
Don't talk about the magic of the Cup to Brentford's manager Dean Smith. When his new Championship side pulled his old team out of the bag, he must have thought the FA Cup gods were having a laugh. And indeed it was Smith's former League One club who left West London with broad smiles. History favoured the Bees. They'd won all 3 previous FA Cup ties between the two. But the sting to this tale was provided by Sam Manton. The Saddlers in front, a sore point for Brentford's manager no doubt during the half-time chat. Brentford did have their chances, they just didn't take them. Neil Etheridge had plenty to do with that. In fact, Walsall might have made their victory even more sweet, but James O'Connor couldn't quite add icing to the cake. All a bit of a nightmare for Brentford's manager Dean Smith. Instead, Walsall's new management marched them boldly on to the 4th round for the first time in a decade.
I think they're a credit to Dean and Richard as well, because I've just took over, so I think Dean and Richard were in a win-win situation. No, I thought they were terrific.
We made it hard for the good team. I know they're a good team because it's my old team who I know an awful lot about. But we were too far off them in the first half. We never played with our normal intensity and got punished.
Peterborough and Preston had never met in the FA Cup before today. After this, North End and manager Simon Grayson won't want to again. As is always the case at the Posh, they come dressed for the occasion. West Ham loanee Martin Samuelsson was only cleared to play in the competition this week after extending his loan deal until the end of the season. The 18-year-old Norwegian scored a belter to put the home side in front inside 7 minutes. Not a bad way to make your FA Cup debut. Peterborough are a side in form, having won 5 of their previous 6 games at home and are in the League One playoff places. And it was them that pounced again, making it 2-0 just after the break. Star striker Connor Washington heading home his 4th FA Cup goal this season and his 13th in his last 14 games. Championship side Preston had no answer. Their best effort saw Tom Clark's header cleared off the line by Michael Smith. Victory then for Peterborough, and sweet revenge for former Preston boss Graham Westley.
It's the FA Cup third round. Everybody wants to be a part of the FA Cup, and that's really the only focus that I have got today. We wanted to win, we did win. Fantastic feeling.
It's been a season of struggle for these two. Both have relegation on their minds. Colchester's travails are in the league below Charlton's, not that you could tell. Marvin Sordell put in George Moncur, and that's the finish of a man with 10 goals this season from midfield. The Addicts are not a club in harmony at the moment. Tensions are high between board and fans, how they could do with some fortune. None here for Christian Ceballos. League One Colchester survived, then thrived. The Sordell-Moncur partnership worked again for them. This time they reversed roles. Moncur's pass and Sordell's 6th goal of the season set the U's course for the 4th round for the first time in 10 years. Charlton struck the goal frame again before Reza Guchenijad finally got one back. But by then it was stoppage time and the Addicts were going out.
I'm just pleased that after a lot of hard work since I've come in, the lads have got, you know, some reward for really working hard. We've played well in the league and not got the results. Today we played well and we got the proper result.
Let's pick a couple of moments out of those matches. James Morrison's equaliser, first of all, Lauro. There are a few quotes coming out at the end of this saying how long that extra time was, and
well,
they maximised it.
Yeah, they did, but you know what? I think the great thing about it, Gabby, is they worked the goal. They just didn't lump it into the box. It's a case sequence of 4 passes. I know Steve Cottrell said there was only 5 seconds when he took the free kick, but don't give the free kick away.
Full team out there as well, Tony Pulis did.
I was quite surprised, actually, but they'll be pleased now they've got a replay.
Let's have a look at Sam Manton's goal as well. Walsall at Brentford against their old manager.
Always nice, always nice. I mean, listen, he takes the ball in his stride. Good feet, and what a finish, clinical finish. He knows what he's doing. Looked really cultured on that left-hand side. You know, Dean Smith did a really good job at Walsall, and I think the players are just trying to hammer that home that he's left the wrong club.
And Connor Washington, a man who, if rumours be believed, many clubs have got their eyes on him,
sure.
And you know, rumoured to be even moving in the January transfer window.
Well,
Peterborough will let him go at this
stage. He's a hot streak as well of goal scoring, and it's that time of the year. But if he goes, Gabby, he will be one of many who have signed for Peterborough from lower leagues and have gone on for big money, which for a club like Peterborough is an absolute lifeline.
Yeah, he came from Newport County, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think they were still in the league at the time as well.
Yeah. OK, guys, well, 6 matches down, plenty more still to come tonight. Could the holders Arsenal add to Sunderland's league woes? Manchester City were pepped up for their visit to Norwich. Would the Merseyside Moggy bring Everton luck against a Daggers side just 3 points off the bottom of the whole Football League? And there were plenty of cup crackers, every single third-round goal coming up for you. Darren Ferguson and Mark Hughes were roommates at Manchester United back in the early 90s, and this afternoon Hughes took his Stoke side to face Ferguson's in-form Doncaster Rovers. They've lost only 1 of their last 7 matches in League One. Steve Bauer was at a packed Keep Moat Stadium.
One of the reasons for Doncaster's recent revival is the form of League One Player of the Month, Andy Williams. Stoke will certainly be aware of the 29-year-old who has 10 goals in his last 12 games. 9 changes for Stoke, including a start for the only man on view to have won the FA Cup. Peter Crouch's victory with Liverpool came almost 10 years ago. As Darren Ferguson has said, there will be a shock somewhere today. And he hopes it's Doncaster. Salute, trying to get away from Taylor Sinclair. He succeeded. Good ball in towards Crouch. 1-0 Stoke. Made by Hosselu and finished by Peter Crouch. The FA Cup winner almost 10 years ago, finishing off this move. Quality delivery from Hosselu. Crouch definitely onside and a very calm finish. You have to say, that was a moment of Premier League quality. Can his side dig deep and come back at Stoke? McCulloch. Good run. He might go all the way, McCulloch. He's still going, and he's squared it to Tyson. 1-1. Nathan Tyson equalises for the League One team. Well, he finished it, but that was all about the Northern Ireland international Lee McCulloch. He kept going, saw the space and had the awareness to roll it into Tyson. Denied first time by Howgard, but alive to the situation to finish off the second opportunity. It's been a good response from Doncaster, and they're back on terms. Neatly done by Grant. Tyson. In towards Williams. Oh, and then Alcott went to ground. Huge appeals. And Keith Stroud, the referee, unmoved. Well, Tyson's delivery asked the question. Didn't appear to be too much contact from Juve on Alcott. Williams. Oh, a lovely feat from him. Grant's gone on ahead of him. Vina available to his left. Here is the Frenchman. To bring it clear for Stoke, and this is promising for the Premier League team. They've got 4 forward. Here's Walters in towards Crouch. In came Juve, pushed away, and Crouch has missed it. Can you believe that? That is a let-off for Doncaster. Well, Stoke can't quite get their head round why they're not 2-1 in front. Oh, that's a poor goal kick from Torsten Stuckmann. Here's Crouch again, straight back into the action. Blocked by Butler. This is Walters. Well, they weren't stopping that one. Stoke back in front. Jonathan Walters with his 5th of the season. It came from a dreadful goal kick from Stuckmann. Crouch's effort blocked, but just look at this from Walters. They backed off. And there was only one place that was going to end up. No chance for Stuckmann. Doncaster 1, Stoke 2. Wilson. And Juve. He's put it back now, though, into Juve. And he's still going. Adam. What a delivery from Charlie Adam. Jonathan Walters unable to finish it off. What a cross. Knew where to put it. Walters sliding in, just couldn't quite keep it down. Trying to lead Stoke into the 4th round of the FA Cup for the 7th season in a row. He knows he's in a cup tie here, though. Grant. Fouled by Wilson. Short to Chaplin. Drilled in towards Butler. Oh, off the bar. Andy Butler with a header. Howgard was beaten. Well, this almost caught Howgard out. And that's how close Doncaster were to a second equaliser. Forward from McCulloch. Here's May. towards the substitute Mackenzie, who got his head to it. Oh, and then it's lifted over by Tyson. Is that the opportunity that Doncaster were looking for? Him from Chaplow. Mackenzie jumping. This is Curtis May. 4 bodies in the penalty area here for Doncaster. Away by Volshard. Final minute of stoppage time. Back in from Curtis May. Oh, and that was a chance. And it was Butler again who threw himself at it. Just a couple of yards out. And the 32-year-old couldn't find the target.
Doncaster played well on the dig, got a good quality of ball into our box, and we had to defend really manfully at times. But in the end, we just had a little bit of quality. 2 great goals. That's won us the tie, and we're delighted with that.
We kept going and we played some really good football. We caused them problems at times against obviously a very good team. I thought it was a penalty at 1-0. I think it was a penalty, and really unlucky. We're unlucky not to get something from that game.
Wasn't the easiest of games. We knew what they were all about, and there's some good quality players in their team, and it showed today. They had good players on the pitch, but as I said, happy with the goal and the big man to get one as well. So 2-1, we'll take that.
Well, they had to work to get it, didn't they? Because Doncaster wanted that just as much as Stoke. And Nathan Tyson in particular, you've pulled out his tenacious performance.
Yeah, he was all action, Jackson. You know, in the afternoon he was everywhere. He was causing a problem going forward. He was defending, see him here, gets his body in the way really well, looks after the ball. Little jink of the shoulder, see you later. Good cross into an area, he's not picking anyone out, he's just putting it into an area. Here you see him, he's playing centre forward, he gets beyond his own full-back. And you see a little bad touch there. Good trigger point to go and close the ball down. Here you see Woolshard. It's a bad foul by Woolshard, but he's not had enough. He was at this all afternoon. But it's great to see Nathan Tyson looking after himself and giving a bit back. Obviously a bit aggressive. Bit aggressive, but you know, you don't want a shrinking violet in them situations, and he stands up for himself here. He's in space, he doesn't need to move much. Not a bad finish. Follow-up brilliant. I think Phil Barsley looking at that, especially from this angle, will feel he could have sensed a bit more urgency. And it ends up in the back of the net. I'll be disappointed with that. For me, Alcock here, definite penalty. He gets the wrong side. He works really hard to get the wrong side as Juve. Juve just tramples all over him. And if the referee or the linesman see that, I think they've got to give the penalty. Wrong side. For me, it's a Stonewall penalty.
And Tyson's cross as well.
Yeah, again, he's involved. And he could have made a name for himself as well at the end there. Good opportunity. Just can't get his foot over the ball to keep it on target. And they're unlucky, Doncaster. He played really well.
He's always been a handful, him, at all levels.
Forest, he was at Wembley for a long time. Peter Crouch, you also want to have a quick look at. He's only made 7 appearances so far this season, and there were 9 changes to this Stoke side today.
Yeah.
He was one of them.
And you wouldn't really have known the way that they played, Gab, because they played extremely well. It was a really open game, this, and the great thing was, I mean, here Sinclair, the left-back for Doncaster, gets himself in an awful mess, but it's a great movement by Peter Crouch, just gets in front of the marker and flicks it in. He hasn't started that many games. I think he's what is he now, 34? But you know what? He certainly knows where the goal is. The only problem here is, I mean, it's a terrible... Wait to see when he tries to pull his shorts up. I think it's a new dance he's learnt from his missus. What's this? What is he doing there? Right, but forget about that. What a fantastic touch from the goalkeeper's miss kick. And I wouldn't like to say that he passed for Jonathan Walters, but it came to Jonathan Walters, and that's just a clinical finish. And just talking about Crouch, the transfer window's coming up. He's always scored in the Premier League. All those teams down towards the bottom of the Premier League, I bet they get a few phone calls asking for Peter Crouch.
Yeah, and I've just dug out Phil Barsley for his defending, but when Jonathan Walters scores that goal, it's his overlap that takes the defender away, so he's done really well going the other way.
You want to give him one back?
Got to.
OK, guys, thank you. Manchester United might have won the FA Cup 11 times, but it's 12 years since they last lifted the trophy, and a cup run and ultimately success might just help the long-term job prospects of Louis van Gaal. They were up against a Sheffield United side who'd won 4 of their last 5 games in League One. Ian Darke and Michael Owen are the commentators at Old Trafford.
Manchester United built a strong-looking lineup, but there are 3 changes. The teenage left-back Cameron Borthwick-Jackson gets only his 2nd start. Matteo Darmian and Marouane Fellaini are also called up to replace Ashley Young and Morgan Schneiderlin, both of whom need a rest, according to the manager. Sheffield United are unchanged from the side beaten by promotion rivals Peterborough last week, and they include 6 men with Premier League experience. Nigel Adkins, lots of promotions on his record, but he's never managed at Old Trafford before this. Darmian, good idea. Rooney attacking that, got there before the goalkeeper. Assesses the options, and in the end the door is closed, but just for a moment. Manchester United had the opening.
Well, that's where I want to see Wayne Rooney. Lovely ball threaded down the side. Tries to pick out Mata in the middle, and very few options, but a great run from the England man.
It's always been a case of blades against blunt blades so far. Just get the impression, don't you, that the Manchester United fans are just a little restless. Smalling's decided that he'll add himself to the attack now. Carried on with his run too. Oh, then Mata gives it straight away to Basham. The brakes on here if they get it right. Here's Sharp. He's got no support though. Needs to hold it up. Had no option. Coots did well. Beat Schweinsteiger. Great piece of play by the Scottish midfield player. That was nearly something for the Blades.
Yeah, good play by Coots. He might be smelling a little bit of blood.
Memphis. I'll go for it, he thinks. Nothing else is moving ahead of me.
Yeah, and he hit it really well.
This is ironic cheers, isn't it, from the Manchester United fans because they had a shot.
Yeah, it's normally the away fans that would do that, but amazing.
Here's Chris Basham driving through. Hammerpot didn't really get hold of it. Chris Basham's shot was the first effort on target by either side. This is at the 3/4 point of the game.
You can't help but think back to what you've seen at this place over the years, and these stats do become even more incredible.
Here's Martial, policed all the time by Collins. He turned him well though. Clever piece of play by the young Frenchman, and he was fouled too. Free kick, dangerous position. What, 25 yards out?
I think it was a good decision. That there is probably a foul. It knocks him off balance.
Blint and Pereira are there. Manchester United, can they end this frustrating night by getting a match winner late? Pereira to play it in. It's fallen him, and Martial. Great block. Smalling missed his kick right in front of goal. And Sheffield United breathe again.
A fantastic block.
Brayford. Yeah, brilliant.
Well, they're happy.
Yeah. They've been having a party right the way through. It's going to be 6 added minutes. There might be a bit more than that as well. Chants from the mischievous Sheffield United fans have sacked in the morning to Louis van Gaal. Is going to wake up to some more unsavoury headlines after this performance, which hasn't been a good one. Although here's Memphis, who's been brighter than most and goes down, and it's a penalty! A penalty to Manchester United right at the death.
Well, he does so well, does Memphis. Dean Hammond, I don't know what he's doing going to ground. It was almost under control. There was 3 men around. And what a lifeline this is for Manchester United.
Wayne Rooney in stoppage time to surely win it for Manchester United if he converts. And he does. Manchester United, after a night of, well, sterility and frustration, get a late winner.
Nerves of steel from the England man, but you have to feel so sorry for Sheffield United players, manager, fans.
You have so many quality players. Just wondered, how surprised are you that so often at half-time the scoreline is 0-0 here at Old Trafford?
Now, you have to see also how the opponent is playing. And everybody shall give applause to Sheffield United. And of course, they were very organized and very well defending. but it is much more difficult to attack than to defend.
George hasn't really had a shot to save, you know, when we look at it that way. So we've come away from home. We're lying 8th in League One, I think it is at the moment. Man United are 5th in the Premier League. It's a full house. If you're in the Premier League, you'd come here and want to make sure that your defensive results. So I think great credit to the players doing that. We've got 8,500 supporters who have travelled, and they've seen the players give their all.
You have to make the pitch as big as possible. We didn't do that, and that's why I changed the wingers in the second half. And then I think we improved a little bit, and I was very pleased that Rudy shoots the penalty.
Well, there was dissent in the crowd, and you can see there part of the reason. It's a build-up, isn't it? Because in the last 10 games, they haven't scored a goal before half-time.
They don't look like scoring a goal before half-time, Gabby. That's the problem. They are so cautious, and they play an extra man out like a defensive player in midfield. They pass the ball sideways. It's just not the Manchester United
Van Gaal
that
says
everybody
a win's
knows.
a win.
It is a win.
You've got Paul Scholes saying he'd be embarrassed to be in the shirt tonight and play in that performance. So where do you sit on
Paul
those
Scholes could still play for Manchester United at the moment. I don't know how long he's been finished. He is far better than any midfield player that they've got, by the way. So I actually totally agree with him. But a lot of the signings have been ordinary at best. He obviously just doesn't see it. You know, it's one of those where...
It's because they're controlling games.
Yeah, well... all they've done, Trevor, is they're making themselves difficult to beat, but by the same token, at the other end of the pitch, they're just not a threat at all. It is not Manchester United.
Memphis Depay is one of those signings that he's kind of being eased in, isn't he? Because he hasn't kind of set the shirt on fire. But today, made a difference?
He did. I think he struggled when he first came in. He was doing well in Europe, and in the league games, he didn't quite have the same impact. But I think he came on, and when you bring a sub on, you want him to have an impact, a positive impact on the team, and he certainly had that. You see him getting the ball there, having a shot. This time he's driving into the box, causing a bit of panic in the Sheffield United defence. Again here, good movement, come to get it, spun in behind, got the wrong side, and this is great ability, great balance, great agility. And Dean Hammond, on loan from Leicester, he'll be so disappointed. You know, it's 90th minute plus extra time going on. Stay on your feet, there's not that much trouble going on. Dives in, thinks he's got there. I mean, it's a great touch and great little balance from Memphis, but it gives the game away. And as we'd expect, Wayne in these situations, cool as ice, and you know he puts the game to bed. And it's disappointing because Sheffield United have worked so hard as a team.
That would have been a cracking replay, that.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah. When you're looking round, we can't see another cracking replay. I mean, credit to Sheffield United. I think Memphis is a substitute. It came for a lot of money. There's a lot of pressure on a team that's not playing well. When he starts, he's not very good. When he comes on, he does seem to make a difference.
OK, time for another crop of matches, kicking off with a fairly lengthy coach trip to Portman Road for 2008 champions Pompey, who've fallen from the highs of the Premier League back then to League Two now.
2008 winners Portsmouth were just 2 minutes away from knocking out Championship promotion contenders Ipswich, but Mick McCarthy's side salvaged a late draw at Portman Road. Ipswich went ahead after the break. Tommy Orr, unmarked in the area, netted the rebound after Brett Pitman's effort was saved. 2 minutes later, Pompey were level. A clever move, Roberts, McNulty with a deft turn, and Kyle Bennett on the overlap, firing into the bottom corner. And it was Portsmouth, a side who've lost just once in their previous 11 games and who lie 46 places below Ipswich, who looked the likely winners. Bennett this time teed up Connor Chaplin from 20 yards, who coolly picked his corner, his 8th of the season, a goal worthy of a winner. But Ipswich weren't done yet and made the most of a free kick in the 88th minute. Ryan Fraser cleverly deceived the Pompey defence to spare Town's blushes. There was not much keeper Brian Murphy could do. McCarthy admitted Portsmouth deserved the win, but instead his side will head to Fratton Park for take two.
We're lucky we've got a draw out of that game. They were excellent, Portsmouth. It looked like it was out of our grasp again, but what's pleasing about my team is they don't give up, and we've ended up with a draw.
Their focus may be firmly on Premier League promotion prospects, but Derby were still keen to avoid a slip-up at a soggy Victoria Park. Hartlepool, fourth from bottom of League Two, appeared to have a daunting task on their hands, a case of all hands to the pump. New Derby signing Abdul Kamara made quite an impression, on the crossbar at least. But an hour into the game, home spirits soared as, ably assisted by Michael Woods, Crystal Palace loanee Jake Gray spectacularly gave the League Two strugglers something to shout about. For Derby's head coach Paul Clement, former club Real Madrid and the Bernabeu must suddenly have seemed an awful long way away. But credit to his championship promotion pushers, they quickly recovered their composure. Midfielder Jacob Butterfield off the bench and quickly finding his range to level it. Brian Clough began his managerial career at Hartlepool before moving famously on to Derby. He might have approved of a draw, though the great man rarely stuck to the script, nor did veteran striker Darren Bent. Giant killing seekers forced to look elsewhere.
These two clubs sit just 15 miles from each other, but they've been growing apart. Milton Keynes Dons are in the Championship these days, and they got Northampton to score their opener for them. Defender Ryan Cresswell's touch was the important one here, 1-0 in the 13th minute. But all season the Cobblers have been succeeding against the odds. Off-field turbulence, on-field excellence, just like Ricky Holmes' goal not long after half-time. Up to that point, Holmes had only scored twice all season, but when Sam Hoskins picked him out, he'd got 2 in less than 10 minutes. A trip to the 4th round for the first time since 2004 was in sight for Town. In fact, they were less than 10 minutes away from it when the Dons' Ben Reeves gave it to Nicky Maynard, who ensured it's all back to MK for a replay.
The last time Birmingham and Bournemouth met at St Andrews, Bournemouth thrashed the Blues 8-0. They then went on to win promotion to the Premier League, while Birmingham shortly after appointed Gary Rowett as manager. Jan Kermorgant had an early chance for the visitors, only to be denied by the crossbar. This was Birmingham's first match since the departure of Demarai Gray to Leicester. They appeared not to be missing him as they took the lead through captain Michael Morrison, who towered above the Bournemouth defence to nod home David Cottrell's free kick. Jonathan Grounds then brought Eunan O'Kane to ground. Penalty, Bournemouth. Up stepped Lee Tomlin, one of 11 changes, to score his first goal for the South Coast club since his £3 million summer move from Middlesbrough. Birmingham then had a penalty of their own. Viv Solomon Ottabar played a neat pass through to Michael Kiefenbeld. O'Kane, this time the villain. James Vaughan with the chance to be Birmingham's hero, only to blaze over the bar. His reaction telling. Was that their opportunity missed? It appeared not. Bournemouth keeper Adam Federici switched off, as did Bailey Cargill. Blue sub Jacques Magoma pounced, only for his shot to bounce off the inside of the far post, and no luck with either rebound. And so the Premier League side prevailed. O'Kane's header saved, but Pugh's effort was fumbled by Adam Legsden to allow Glenn Murray the final say. It could have been 3, but Matt Ritchie's header hit the post late on. But Eddie Howe's Bournemouth had already done enough to book their place in the 4th round.
Is that a missed opportunity for Birmingham City? Bournemouth made 11 changes to their starting lineup, and they had their chances, didn't they, City?
Yeah, you would say they'd be disappointed, especially with the changes they've made. It's an opportunity for them to get at Bournemouth and win the game, but just didn't have enough on the night.
Mind you, if you miss a penalty at home, your cup's not running over, is it?
He was disappointed as well, James Vaughan. You can see his reaction. He's smacking the ground and all that. He'd be devastated tonight.
A bit too late to be disappointed, Trev, wasn't it, when he smashed it up in Rose Head? And this is the one. He does great, and it comes back off the post. And this is shinny, as though he didn't expect the ball to come back off the post in the penalty area. Surely not.
Sylvain Distin did really well to block that follow-up as well.
And if you've made 11 changes to your starting lineup, are you saying I'm not that bothered about the FA Cup, and therefore are you slightly?
Well, you might be saying I think
from your.
You might be saying I think my team's good enough with 11 changes to beat Birmingham.
The squad, yeah, I think he's trusting the squad. I think the tempo that Eddie has at the club in training, I think he'll be trusting his players to go to Birmingham and win a game. They beat him 8-0 last year,
and that only adds to confidence in the league, doesn't it?
Sure.
Absolutely.
OK, lots more FA Cup fun and frolics to come, and even more Cup action tomorrow. We're live at White Hart Lane as Tottenham host a surprise of the Premier League season, Leicester City. Highlights of all 5 of the day's Cup games, including Chelsea at home to Scunthorpe, are at 10:30 and later in Scotland. And the draw for the 4th round of the Emirates FA Cup takes place during the One Show. It's 7 o'clock on BBC One on Monday. Time for 2 all Premier League matches in a moment. Norwich against Manchester City. But first, Arsenal haven't lost an FA Cup match since February 2013 and are looking to become the first club since the 1880s to lift the cup 3 times in a row. For their opponent Sunderland, the cup's a diversion from their struggle against relegation. Simon Brotherton was at the Emirates.
Among 5 changes for the cup holders today, 19-year-old Alex Iwobi makes only his 2nd start for the club. Mesut Ozil, Per Mertesacker and Mathieu Flamini are given a rest, while England under-21 international Jordan Pickford makes his debut in goal for Sunderland after impressing while on loan at Preston in the Championship over the first half of the season. It's one of 7 changes made by Sam Allardyce for this one. And now it's with Oxlade-Chamberlain for Arsenal. Walcott was screaming for the ball here. Giroud, forward comes Gibbs, good save by Pickford. First time Sunderland's debutant goalkeeper has been called into action and he was equal to it. Walcott there wanted the ball played quickly. Oxlade-Chamberlain went to Giroud instead. And Pickford's wrist deflects the ball behind. Well, no manager has won the FA Cup more times than Arsene Wenger. And interestingly, in all the time he's been at Arsenal, he has never lost a 3rd-round tie. Coates clear of Giroud. Decent ball as well. Collected here by Watmore, who's harried and ultimately dispossessed by Gibbs. But Koscielny's lost it to Lenz. And Sunderland lead. Jermaine Lenz with the goal. Gibbs reclaiming it for Arsenal. His short pass to Koscielny, who didn't get it away from underneath his feet. And Lenz there, able to take advantage. The cup holders, Arsenal 0, Sunderland 1. Koscielny finding Iwobi. Walcott available far side. There's a threat about Arsenal here. Campbell, 1-1. Well worked, fine finish. Walcott taking it towards the byline, clipping it back, bags of space for Campbell. And the Costa Rican able to just sweep the ball into the back of the net. Oxlade-Chamberlain. Find a way through and Carl the shot, smacking off the post. And the rebound wide from Theo Walcott. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain bided his time, saw an opening. And Theo Walcott couldn't guide it home. And among those in the director's box today, FIFA presidential candidate Prince Ali bin Al Hussein of Jordan. And Villa just off the bench. DeAndre Yedlin. Faced by Theo Walcott, but Yedlin's done really well here. Oh, it's off the bar and Watmore can't turn it home. What a chance for Sunderland to take the lead for the 2nd time today. Tremendous play from DeAndre Yedlin there, just gets away from Theo Walcott. Stephen Fletcher with the header. And Duncan Watmore right underneath the ball, sending it sailing high over the top of the crossbar. Bellerin. Campbell, lovely return, what a pass, beautiful stuff, superb goal, finished off by Aaron Ramsey. Wonderful passing, Campbell with the return ball, Bellerin sliding it into the centre, and Ramsey applying the finishing touch. And having gone a goal down in the first half, Arsenal have now turned the tie around. Excellent pass, good running by Bellerin once more, 2 in support. He looks for Olivier Giroud, who slides it home. Pinpoint football again from the cup holders, who surely now are heading into the 4th round. Lovely pass. Bellerin always a willing runner. And on a plate for Giroud to slot it home.
We had some difficulty to start, to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency. And we had some difficulty to start, to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we had to find our fluency, because we had a completely new midfield, and we Sunderland worked very hard to close us down, and slowly in the game, especially in the second half, we became stronger and stronger, and in the end won the game.
I'm just a little sad the way we've thrown the game away on the goals that we allowed Arsenal to score. I thought defensively we should have done an awful lot better than we did and made it easy for them in the end just to win the game. So we wasted a lot of hard work, a lot of energy, and a lot of good play for 70 minutes, and in the space of 5 minutes just thrown it away, sadly.
Norwich skipper Russell Martin's last-minute handball gave Manchester City their winning penalty when the two sides met at the Etihad Stadium in the league back in October. The Canaries have made 7 changes to the 11, who recorded a second successive victory against Southampton last weekend. There's a similar number of alterations for the visitors following their 2-1 reverse in the League Cup semi-final at Everton on Wednesday. Among them, Kelechi Iheanacho, who scored 4 goals this season despite only starting twice. Among several absentees for Manuel Pellegrini, Torre, Silva, Fernandinho, Boni, Kompany and Mangala. Here's Kolarov. On it goes to Sterling, into the path of Aguero. Still going, Aguero. Still going. Oh, that is a magnificent finish. What a goal from Sergio Aguero. Well, there have been so many questions about whether or not he was at 100% fitness, and that goal tells you that he is as sharp as a tack. Lovely play, so much work to do, but he's round Basson, and he has the awareness to get beyond Martin and the finish to prod it past Ruddy. Olsen goes on towards Cameron Jerome. Good ball in as well. Well dealt with by Di Michelis. Not a great clearance. And straight in at Caballero. Good hit from Dorrans. He has that within his armoury, Graham Dorrans, to connect with the ball from distance. And he did do on that occasion after a poor clearance went straight to him. Manchester City have enjoyed their visits to Carrow Road in recent years. They're enjoying this one as well. Here's Aguero. Tried to poke it through for Iheanacho. And Manchester City now do have a cushion which reflects their total domination of the match. A goal each for the two strikers. Aguero 1-0, Iheanacho 2. It's his 5th goal of the season. It's only his 3rd start of the campaign. He has an eye for goal, this young fella. And Manchester City have an eye on the 4th round of the FA Cup. De Bruyne. Kolarov. Iheanacho. Kolarov. Still Kolarov. Now Navas. Hits it well! Frame of the goal. And then De Bruyne tried to hit the rebound. Really good hit from Navas. His mind was made up due to a lack of options, really. And De Bruyne couldn't quite pocket the rebound. And this is game 3 of a minimum of 7 for Manuel Pellegrini's side in January. Here's Navas. On towards De Bruyne. Still De Bruyne. It's gone in. De Bruyne had Bennett in his pocket. Twisted him one way, twisted him another. And fired it in despite the best efforts of Ruddy. De Bruyne's goal, Manchester City 3-0 up and into the 4th round draw.
I think that was a very good performance. We played against a difficult team here in their stadium. They were winning the last 3 games. They were in a good moment. And I think that from the beginning we were a very aggressive team.
We'll forget this game as of just now, to be honest. You know, our bread and butter's the league, and we'll turn our attentions to Wednesday, and then we've got a real important game on Saturday as well. So as far as we're concerned, we just need to sort of put this to the back of our minds and get ready for the next sort of 2 important league games coming up.
Hope he's not watching, just reminded him. But let's go back in time a little bit and go back to the first match, Arsenal's performance. I know you want to wax lyrical about the goals, and clearly Arsene Wenger taking this competition seriously. A strong team today.
Yeah, back-to-back cup winners. They want to do it again. It looks like they're serious about it. You look at the defender there. He's looking. He can see Campbell. Van Aanholt can see Campbell. Again, he's looked again. He can see him. I'd like to see him a little bit closer. because that's where the goals are going to get scored. And his back turned to the attacker's no good. He doesn't know where he is, and he runs off the back of him, and it is poor. Here, pace, I mean, it's genetic sometimes. You cannot compete with that. Bellerin's got pace to burn. Nice little 1-2. It's impossible. Great finish from Aaron. He's only been on 2 minutes, and this pass by Oxlade, that is exquisite. Takes it in his path. There you see Giroud. He's earned that space now, Bellerin, because he's scared of his pace. Giroud's pointing where he wants it. Again, the defender's body position is poor. And what a dream of a ball that is. I mean, for any centre-forward, get on the end of that and you get yourself a goal. And Giroud does that and finishes well.
How do you defend against a team playing like that?
Well, looking at Sunderland with difficulty, to be honest with you. But they reacted to everything. They weren't proactive. And this was a bit of a bromance, wasn't it, with Walcott and the fan, which is extremely nice of him. But you know what? If your mate was an Arsenal fan, Gabby, and he didn't go to that match, and he said to his pal, saying, "What were Arsenal's goals like?" You go, "Just classic Arsenal goals." If you watch all 3 goals, they just pass the ball into the back of net because the pass is designed in such a way you don't break your stride, and it's just so easy.
He's got Oxlade-Chamberlain's pass on his phone now. He just keeps watching it again and again. Let's have another look at Aguero from Man City's an individual goal this week.
Well, the fella's the best striker in the league, bar nobody. It normally takes him a few games to come back from injury. We know he's had 1 or 2 problems because of that, his hamstring and everything, but there is just no stopping him. And he just sucks everybody in, and he's got such a low centre of gravity, twisting and turning. He is their most important player now, Manchester City.
They really need him now, don't they?
Oh,
at the end of the season,
seriously.
to be in that kind of form.
Yeah, well, you know, Boney's not bad. He's not Aguero.
OK. Well, time now for a batch of matches featuring teams knocking on the door of the top flight and those already there. We'll start with a Premier League head-to-head at Vicarage Road.
2 Premier League sides, but no big changes from either of them for this one. Newcastle included the likes of Daryl Janmaat, and the Dutch international became the first of several to be denied by Watford's Aurelio Gomez. Wasted chances would become an unfortunate theme for Newcastle. Moussa Sissoko did all he could to lay on Ayoze Perez. Opportunity missed. And with half-time looming, they inadvertently created one for Watford. The last place Jorginho Wijnaldum wanted this pass to go was to the feet of Troy Deeney, a man more than capable of shouldering the goal-scoring burden, even without regular partner Odion Ighalo. Newcastle haven't won an FA Cup match since 2012, and success continues to elude them, however close they came. And Alexander Mitrovic can't have got much closer. As their last chance of a trophy this season ebbed away, Newcastle's Sissoko sent one towards Florian Thauvin for one last go. As so often for Newcastle, nearly, not quite.
They breed these managers tough, not an umbrella in sight, though it's becoming increasingly miserable for Saints supporters. Not so much marching, more shuffling nervously after this early cup exit. Just to rub it in, a former Southampton forward, Jason Puncheon, was punching above his weight. Some nimble footwork, Joel Ward landing another blow to Southampton's season. Southampton were on the ropes. In need of a shake-up, they made changes at half-time. It worked pretty much straight away. 6 minutes into the second half, Cuco Martina tested Wayne Hennessy, Oriol Romeo gratefully accepting the rebound. Southampton needed a win to relieve the mounting pressure in a misfiring season, but it was Palace who edged it. When goalkeeper Martin Stekelenburg could only parry Puncheon's shot, Wilfried Zaha gleefully fired the ball home. It rather took the wind out of Southampton's sails, and though Jose Font headed over the crossbar later on, and the home side went even closer soon after, they couldn't rescue it. A 7th defeat in 9 games for Ronald Koeman's side, knocked out of the cup for the 2nd successive season by Palace.
There may not be many more FA Cup ties at Upton Park, with West Ham moving to the Olympic Stadium, and this 1-0 win over Wolves will hardly be remembered as a classic. Carl Jenkinson went close for the Hammers, but Karl Ikemi tipped his long-range effort over the bar. It was Nikica Jelavic who came up with the goods 5 minutes from time. Andy Carroll providing the assist for the Croats' first goal for the club since his September move from Hull. Wolves could have done with top scorer Benik Afobe, but the striker was finalising a move to Bournemouth. Adam Lefondre squandered this opportunity as West Ham stretched their unbeaten run to 8 games.
Middlesbrough have been having some season, in great form and on course to return to the Premier League, so no surprises they set about Burnley with plenty of confidence. Albert Adoma took them on by himself and so nearly won. Aitor Karanka's team were dominant and the Clarets were reliant on the excellence of their goalkeeper Tom Heaton. He did all he could to deny Borough here, but Diego Fabrini could not be stopped. Burnley were being outplayed, but just before half-time the game changed. Sam Vokes took on the Borough defence and no one picked up Rowan Hennings. Now Sean Dyche's team talk would be different. Middlesbrough had won their last 4, but Burnley sensed the chance. George Boyd had a go, then Stephen Ward had a better go. His first goal since May 2014 means Borough must concentrate on promotion. Burnley have the 4th round to look forward to.
Hull City have had their shares of ups and downs since reaching the Cup final of 2014, and on the road to recovery after relegation, they were hoping to be duly inspired again. And with the half-time kettle very nearly on, against a Brighton side whose season appears to have gone a little off the boil, they caught a break. Harry Maguire brought down to earth, Robert Snodgrass dispatching the penalty to give Hull the lead. They might have added to that after the turnaround. A swift break, Snodgrass again to Sonny Aluko. His shot looped into Ryan Taylor's path. Nicky Manpa stood firm. Sam Baldock tried his luck from distance. Brighton later struck the bar, a case then of close but no Seagulls cigars. Instead, just a post-match consoling drink. Talking of rounds, for Hull it's into the next one. For Brighton, it's now 5 games without a goal. A dry January indeed.
Let's go back to Newcastle's trip to Vicarage Road, and they're often criticised for fielding weaker sides, Newcastle. They didn't do that today. And Watford did rest some key players, and still they couldn't break them down.
No, and, you know, we have to obviously congratulate Watford because ultimately they've won the game. And I think it was a Newcastle performance, actually, that was full of a lot of good things, apart from their finishing. And I think as a manager for Steve McLaren, it gives you something to cling on to. But the problem is, Gabby, they just now seem to be having narrow defeats. And you can't score goals in this league. OK, it's the FA Cup today, but you're playing against a Premier League team. Yeah, if you can't score goals in the Premier League, you're always going to struggle. It'll be very interesting to see what they do in the next 3 weeks in the transfer window. You
think they'll be busy?
Very.
You think, or you've obviously heard Slaven Bilic say that he values West Ham's run in the FA Cup, or at least an FA Cup victory, more almost than the league. So you seem to think that they're a good outside bet, West Ham.
I think so. I think they're playing well. I think the way they've adapted this season, the quality they've brought in, I think they look really dangerous going forward. If they can show it up at the back and keep clean sheets, they've got a great chance. And Slav actually said he'd rather win the FA Cup, and he was holding it, like imaginary holding it, saying he'd rather win the FA Cup than finish 4th. And I think that's really refreshing to take the competition seriously.
I'm not sure the owners would be agreeing with him, though.
Well, it's interesting. That's our live match tomorrow, of course. So you've got Spurs-Leicester, and we're expecting both those teams perhaps to be a lot weaker than they normally are in the Premier League because they clearly don't, do they? They want top
absolutely, and that's an advantage for West Ham as well. So if other teams are not taking it as serious, I think they've got a great chance.
Crystal Palace did, of course. They played a full-strength side. So. OK, well, after 20 years without silverware, it might just be time to unlock the Everton Trophy cabinet. They're in a strong position in the semi-finals of the League Cup, and today faced a Dagenham and Redbridge team struggling at the bottom of League Two. Martin Fisher is on the mic for this one.
After missing the last 13 games with a knee injury, Phil Jagielka is back to skipper Everton. It's been an even longer absence for Stephen Pienaar. It's his first appearance for the club in 274 days. Dagenham and Redbridge include loanees Oliver Muldoon and Joe Worrell, who only joined the club on Thursday. John Still began his third spell as manager on New Year's Eve. Success today would surely eclipse anything he's achieved in his career. Oviedo. It's a good ball in. Kone with a header. It came off Worrell, I think. Little thick header from Kone. Was it going in? But for the deflection off Worrell. There's Kone. There's the touch from Worrell. It's a good ball in. Flicked away by Nosworthy. Funes Mori used Lennon as a decoy and then goes for the curler. Splendid save from Mark Cousins. Goalkeeper who celebrates his 29th birthday today. Clean sheet. He's top of his birthday wish list. Lennon in behind Hemmings and brought down by the fullback. Just too tricky for him there. All about concentration now for those wearing yellow and black shirts. Oviedo's delivery. Kone's header and Everton's lead. It's taken them 32 minutes. Aruna Kone with the headed goal. His first goal since he scored a hat-trick here against Sunderland on the first day of November. And Aruna Kone, who won the FA Cup with Roberto Martinez for Wigan 3 years ago, gets Everton's first goal of this season's competition. Everton 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Galloway for Kone. May as well hit it and does, and Cousins with a very smart save. Well, there was not much on here for Aruna Kone. What there was space. Mark Cousins with a smart stop. Who's this then? I'd hardly call it a pitch invasion. Kone. Running at Passley. He's got away from the fullback and he's picked out Lennon. It's lovely. It's Morales goes down. That's a penalty. Well, suddenly it was quick, and it was too quick for tired Dagenham and Redbridge legs. And Morales makes no mistake from the spots. Surely that's the tie finished. Kevin Morales won the penalty and held his nerve to thump it home. And the brave, stubborn resilience of Dagenham and Redbridge is surely over now. And Everton can march through to round 4. Everton 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 0.
Winning the game and having a lot of players coming back from injury, seeing Phil Jagielka being able to play the 90 minutes, Brian Oviedo playing 90 minutes, Steven Pina being able to feel a footballer again, and that reaction from the crowd was terrific. I thought the full performance was full of discipline, full of concentration, and a job very well done.
Really pleased. Game plan was good. Everyone's worked and done what we expect of them. So for me, it was a good day to be the manager of this club, and delighted that the supporters, recognise, both sets of supporters recognise that we've come here not to lay down.
Big month coming up for Everton. They've got that second leg of the semi-final of the League Cup, and of course they'll be playing a few days later in the 4th round of the FA Cup.
They've got a really good footballing side, Gabby, where the problem's been in the last kind of 3 to 4 weeks. They've got in front in games and not really killed the opposition off. Jagielka's back, as we saw today. Obviously Morales, Pinar as well, etc. So as far as they're concerned, they actually should start to improve the results.
And a good crowd there today got in on.
Well, I think there was a. I think they said that I think it was like £20 or £10 for an adult, £5 for a kid, knowing that they've had loads of home games, so a good bit of business.
20 matches down, just 5 more to go today. If you're from Yorkshire, you're probably wondering where all your teams are. Well, 5 of them feature here. We're going to start at Ellen Road with a visit of Rotherham.
There was no shortage of local history to spice this meeting of Yorkshire minds. The respective managers recently swapped clubs. One assumes they didn't swap Christmas cards recently. In the end, it was Leeds and Steve Evans who emerged with pride and cup run intact. The writing was on the wall for Rotherham by the break. A flash of brilliance from debutant Mustafa Carriol. Quite a way to introduce yourself. Rotherham tried to mount a second-half revival, but Emmanuel Ledesma's long-range effort was about as good as it got. The home lead was almost doubled. Stuart Dallas unlucky to see his effort thunder back off the crossbar. Neil Redfern won on his return to Elland Road with Rotherham in November. No such luck this time. His cup fate sealed late on, in slightly chaotic fashion. Indecision and confusion in defence. Opportunism from Suleiman Dukara to wrap it up. It's 8 without defeat now. Whisper it, but the lead ship appears to have steadied.
Thought I deserved to win it. You know, goalkeepers had one save here in 95 minutes, and then one of my baby daughters could save it.
Reading will be hoping to emulate last season's cup run, where they reached the semi-finals. They beat Huddersfield at this stage last year and were close to coming away with another win against their championship rivals. But it was the home side that made the breakthrough, Jamie Patterson heading home after nearly an hour. But Reading was soon back in it. Mathieu Vidra's fine solo effort took a slight deflection as it looped over keeper Joe Murphy. With 3 minutes remaining, Hal Robson-Kanu appeared to have put Reading into the fourth round. The 200-mile journey back home looking brighter for these fans. But Huddersfield were handed a lifeline in stoppage time. Oliver Norwood brought down Harry Bunn. Naki Wells made no mistake from the spot to force a replay with his 9th goal of the season.
A week ago, these two met in the Championship, and Sheffield Wednesday won. They're faring better than Fulham in the league too, so no surprise that they went ahead. More of a surprise how they went ahead. Barry Bannon will remember his second of the season for some time. Fulham weren't stunned. In fact, they went up the other end and equalised. Tom Cairney did a lot of the work, but it took a Ross McCormack shot and a rebound before Moussa Dembele finished it. Fulham had a number of chances to win this. Perhaps the clearest fell to the goal scorer Dembele, but keeper Joe Wildsmith got in the way. The Wednesday boss, Carlos Carvalhal, said their tactics were to let Fulham have the ball and pounce. So when it came out to their striker, Ate Nuhiu, the plan came together perfectly. This weekend, like last weekend, Wednesday winners.
A relatively new coach for Queen's Park Rangers, but Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank still trying to win his first game in charge. QPR trying to win their first ever game at Nottingham Forest. Midway through the first half, their mission got an awful lot harder. Teenager Oliver Burke, their tormentor-in-chief. Another flying dart down the wing. His shot across the Rangers' bows, poached by Jamie Ward. As Rangers hunted an equaliser, Gabriella Angela saw his effort expertly turned over the bar by Doris de Vries, but Forest saw out the game to book themselves a place in the fourth round draw where, in time-honoured tradition, for their manager, anyone at home will do.
Do you think you could give anyone a game here?
I think right now the City Ground, you know, we're very capable of going up another level and holding our own against the Premiership players. But, you know, I'll take a draw at home anytime.
Bradford fans have become accustomed to cup runs. Their FA Cup exploits last season saw them knock out Chelsea in the fourth round and reach the quarter-finals, while Phil Parkinson also led them to the League Cup final 3 years ago. Tony McMahon came closest to scoring for the visitors before the break, but his free kick rebounded off the post. While Andrew Tutt should have done better for Bury, who were playing in the third round for the first time in 8 years. As the rain fell, Parkinson was deep in thought. Could the Bantams conjure up some FA Cup magic? James Hansen almost did, but Bradford will get another chance on home soil.
So you've been rewarded, you Yorkshire fans of football, because we've saved the best for last here, and I want you two to kind of argue and fight it out between these two goals. Mustafa Carriel, first of all, for Leeds United. Lauro.
Well, it's just such a fantastic strike, Gabby. You know, right in the corner of the penalty area. It's just the goalkeeper, absolutely no chance whatsoever.
Leeds fans of a certain age will remember Tony Yeboah, and then this one, Barry Bannon.
Got to go to Barry. Left foot, postage stamp. What a finish that is. More difficult strike as well.
Yeah,
on the bounce.
You need a better technique, really. The other one's just smashed it. He's got to cut across it there, Barry Barron.
Okay.
Take a bow.
Barry wins it then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you'll have missed it, but there was some drama in Devon last night when Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp got his first taste of the FA Cup at League Two Exeter City.
Reed's on the run here, and in front of Jose Enrique to play it across towards Nichols.
Exeter City strike first in the FA Cup third round.
Scored by Tom Nichols. It is his 10th goal of the season. It's the one he'll cherish the most. Here's Ryan Kent. Managed to squeeze it through the legs of Alex Nichols. Tejera. Kent. Might be a shot for Ryan Kent here. Almost deflected to Benteke. It does come to Sinclair. Liverpool level. Jerome Sinclair scores his first senior goal for Liverpool. Exeter just couldn't get the ball away. Bogdan. It's got in. Straight in. Exeter have the lead again, and Adam Bogdan has been beaten direct from a corner. Lee Holmes with the ball in, straight in. Smith. Benteke. Kirivella. Here's Ojo. There was a slip from Davis. Clear to Smith. Brad Smith has equalised. Liverpool level for the second time in the match. And Brad Smith hit and found the target to the mild satisfaction of his manager.
Klopp will just be delighted to get through that and get that replay.
Yeah, I think it's a good result for both teams because, I mean, Liverpool's starting 11 have never ever played together before, and you'd argue would never ever play together again, and it was a really good performance from Exeter, and it made for a really good cup tie.
It was exciting to see those young players getting on as well, wasn't it?
Did really well because they've not been in that environment before together, and they had to come through it, and you know they had to show some character. I think they did that well, but for me it highlights young players need to be going out on loan to lower division clubs to get real football experience.
We've seen many exciting things over the last 24 hours, but we've seen a change in the sartorial elegance of many managers on the touchline, and we've picked out three, and you know, you're a man of great taste yourself, Trevor. Tidsdale here with his hats, then with Gareth Ainsworth with his rock and roll look and his hair, and then Chris Todd, who was just resplendent in that blue suit today at Eastleigh. So almost got splashed, but not quite. The award goes to?
Good agility. Paul Tisdale for me.
Just because of the hat?
Great hat. Beautiful.
You're a fan of a hat.
And a feather.
I'm not, of course not going to ask you, Laura.
He looked like he was emptying bins, apart from the hat.
OK, well, we'll leave it to Trevor. Thank you so much, guys.
Pleasure.
Trevor, Laura, we've enjoyed those third-round exploits today. There's more, of course, to come tomorrow. We're live at White Hart Lane for you at 3:35. But if you're still with us now, I'm guessing it wasn't you in the lottery tonight. And it wasn't quite the jackpot for Eastleigh today. But at least their number is still in the draw for the fourth round on Monday. From all of us, a very good night.